Welcome to the Online Digital Marketing Podcast. We'll be discussing marketing strategies, trends, and tips that will help your business succeed in the digital age. Every episode, we'll be interviewing industry professionals and providing valuable insights on how to leverage digital tools for maximum engagement and ROI. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest trends in online marketing.
Okay, so today we're really digging into something that comes up constantly, both in business and, well, just personal growth. Finding that why, your reason for being, basically.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
But we're not just going over the theory again. We found this really concrete 10-step plan. It's designed to take you from just thinking about purpose to actually having something actionable.
Exactly. And for you listening, the mission today isn't just to nod along with the concepts. We want to break down the strategy of this specific structure. Why these 10 steps, why this order.
Right.
We're looking at how this plan, because it uses these actionable prompts and challenges right away. Make sure you don't just get the knowledge, but you actually apply it instantly in your life, your work, whatever.
Okay, let's get into it. The first part of this journey, maybe the first 5 steps, seems to be about moving from the abstract idea to something personal. Let's call it personal sketching. And it starts maybe counterintuitively, not with finding the why, but with looking at, well, your doubts. Step 1 actually challenges you to figure out what assumptions might be holding you back.
Which is structurally quite clever, actually. It anticipates the mental roadblocks.
How so?
Well, you can't really embrace a new authentic purpose if you haven't first kind of cleared out the old junk, the old stories you tell yourself.
Makes sense. Get rid of the baggage first.
Precisely. And once you've tackled those assumptions, step 2 throws this contrast at you.
Yeah.
The difference between short-term fixes, manipulation really, and genuine long-term inspiration.
And that distinction feels critical. Short-term stuff like discounts, maybe pressure tactics, they work for a moment.
Sure, quick results.
But they don't build real connection or loyalty, do they? So the plan makes you pause and ask, okay, am I leading with quick fixes or am I aiming for something based on real belief?
Exactly. It gets you to examine your current approach before it even introduces the main framework. So with that groundwork laid, step 3 brings in the famous golden circle model. Why, how, and what.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting for me because often this model just stays on a PowerPoint slide.
Right? Oh, right. Very theoretical.
But step 3 makes you get your hands dirty. It actually guides you to immediately sketch out your own golden circle. It demands you apply it right then and there.
Yeah, and let's just quickly recap those bits for anyone listening. The why, that's your core belief, your purpose. Why you even bother doing what you do.
The emotional heart of it.
Exactly. The how. That's your unique process, the specific actions that make you different, that bring the why to life, and the what, well, that's the result, the products, the services, the tangible stuff.
So by making you sketch it immediately.
It stops being abstract.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's your data, your thoughts filling in those circles. It becomes personal.
Okay, so you've sketched it out. Then step 4 takes this, maybe unexpected, turn into biology. It connects the why directly to our brains, specifically the limbic brain, and how we make decisions.
And this arguably is one of the most potent parts of the whole structure because it reframes purpose. It's not some soft, fuzzy marketing idea. It's presented as a fundamental driver of human behavior rooted in our neurology. The limbic brain handles feelings, trust, loyalty, all the gut stuff that drives decisions.
Right, the stuff that isn't purely logical.
Exactly. So when you communicate, starting with why, then moving to how and what, you're essentially talking directly to the part of the brain that makes those gut decisions.
Which explains why sometimes we can't quite articulate why we chose something, just that it felt right.
Precisely. And this step makes you reflect on that in your own context. You start looking at your own choices or your business strategy through this evolutionary lens.
Okay, fascinating. And then after that deep dive into the brain, step 5 brings it back to the real world with examples.
Yeah, proof points. It talks about leaders who clearly operate from their why. Apple challenging the status quo, MLK in his dream. Not just a plan. The Wright brothers believing flight was possible when others didn't.
And the action point here isn't just, wow, look at them, it's smarter. It pushes you, the listener, to actively observe why-driven messaging out there in your world after seeing these examples.
So you go from just passively seeing ads or hearing speeches
To actively decoding them,
Yeah.
looking for that authentic why behind the message. It's like you've been given a new filter to see things through.
which leads us nicely into the next phase of this plan, because now it shifts. It moves from discovery, from sketching out ideas, into execution, and maybe more importantly, into maintaining that purpose. How do you make it stick in the real world?
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? Step 6 tackles building real trust and loyalty. It takes that idea of needing consistency with your why and asks, okay, what are you actually doing every day to prove it?
We're moving past just feeling inspired and into the realm of, well, discipline. This step gets practical. It talks about concrete actions for building loyalty. Maybe it's your internal communication style, how you hire people, how you handle mistakes with customers.
So loyalty isn't just a nice side effect.
No, it's something you earn. It's the result of consistently acting in line with your stated why.
Okay, but then what happens when things get tough or complicated? What's interesting is that the plan seems to anticipate problems. Step 7 talks about the danger zone when your purpose gets fuzzy. They look at examples of companies that started strong but then kind of lost their way, maybe focusing too much on the products and forgetting the why behind it all.
This is a really vital check-in point. It forces you to ask, am I compromising my core motivation for some short-term win?
And it gives you a tool.
Yeah, very practically, it offers a checklist to help maintain that clarity around your why.
Yeah.
It basically operationalizes staying true to yourself or your organization's purpose.
But hang on, isn't purpose sometimes supposed to evolve? If your whole market changes, could sticking too rigidly to that checklist actually stop you from making a necessary change or pivot?
That's the exact tension it addresses next. That's the cleverness of the structure again. It knows rigidity can be just as bad as being fuzzy. So, step 8 is literally titled Split Happens.
Okay.
And it tackles exactly that.
Yeah.
How do you navigate those big shifts, those pivots, those changes in direction? It uses examples like Apple's own leadership changes and how they eventually swung back to their core values to show how purpose can endure through change.
So it's teaching the difference between, say, changing how you do things versus changing why you do them.
Precisely. Changing the how versus sacrificing the why.
Oh.
And the plan uses these scenarios to ask you directly, how do you stay true to your purpose when everything around you is changing?
So it makes you wrestle with resilience and consistency before you've even fully locked down your own why in the next steps.
Exactly. It stress tests the concept in your mind, ensuring that the why you eventually define isn't some fragile thing, but something robust enough to handle bumps in the road.
That tees up the final phase perfectly then. The guided discovery and actually putting it into action, this feels like the peak of the whole thing. We hit step 9, origin of a why, discovering and defining yours.
Right. This is the moment it all leads to. All the prior steps challenging your assumptions, understanding the biology, looking at leaders, thinking about change. It was all preparation for this guided introspection.
And the core mechanism here.
It actively guides you through specific exercises to uncover your own why. And the big emphasis, underlined multiple times, is on authenticity.
That seems key. The plan is really explicit, isn't it? Don't just copy Apple's why or MLK's why.
Absolutely not. The goal isn't to imitate someone else's purpose. It's about digging into your own unique background, your values, your personal origin story, and finding that emotional core that is genuinely yours.
So you end up with a purpose statement that feels, well, real, true to you, almost like it was inevitable based on your own experiences.
And if it's truly authentic, then it needs to be lived. So step 10, the final piece, is all about applying the why daily execution and legacy. This wraps everything up and shifts you from discovery mode into long-term practical integration.
Right, so it's about weaving that why into everything. Your leadership style, the company culture, the actual systems and processes you use.
If your why is about, say, innovation, then your meeting structures, how you evaluate ideas, how you handle failure, all of that needs to reflect and support innovation. It's about the daily discipline.
Building the scaffolding to keep the why alive.
Exactly. And then the plan finishes with one last, very concrete challenge to really seal the deal on application. It asks you, the learner, to take your freshly defined why, identify some specific action steps to align with it, and then share them publicly for the upcoming week.
Wow. Okay, so that takes it right out of your private notebook and puts it out there. Accountability. It's the final piece of the puzzle. That structural element forces commitment and reinforces the whole learning loop. Challenge your thinking, sketch it out, find your authentic core, and then commit publicly to living it.
So connecting the dots here, the whole design of this 10-step plan is really built on the idea that just understanding something isn't enough.
Not at all. Discovery without application is kind of useless in this context. The structure ensures you move step by step from theory to a personal, active commitment. Every piece of knowledge comes with a demand for action.
So wrapping this up for you listening, what does this mean as you think about your own purpose? This systematic approach really hammers home finding an authentic why through introspection, not just picking one that sounds good.
Right. No imitation.
But here's the final thought I want to leave you with. If the ultimate goal is that deep internal authenticity, that core belief, and the very last step demands you share your why publicly and commit to actions, how does that pressure of public accountability interact with authenticity?
Does sharing it reinforce your commitment? Or could it maybe subtly make you tweak or polish your why just a little bit to make it sound better or more acceptable to others? Does the act of sharing potentially distort the very authenticity it's trying to lock in?
That's a really interesting tension.
Definitely something to mull over this week. How does your internal purpose navigate the external world? Thanks for joining us for the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Ready to take your online business to the next level? Subscribe to our digital marketing podcast and then join our Accountability for Success Mastermind. With expert advice from industry leaders, you'll gain knowledge and insights that will help you succeed in today's digital marketing world. From social media strategies to search engine optimization, we have all the tools you need. Learn from successful entrepreneurs and take control of your online success. Join the Accountability for Success Mastermind now at bit.ly/AFSM podcast.